Yes! I'm Alexi Pukinikin, and we're balling today, tomorrow, maybe yesterday. At what cost? Woo! Messy hair day today, so I had to make sure the little headphone takes care of most of the mess, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, welcome to another week, another episode of Sports Analysis. Some sports entertainment. I don't know if I'm entertaining, but I do try my best. Anyways, let's just go straight into it. So NFL, it's Eagles Nation right now, okay? I'm going to start off with that. But let's just talk about first game of week 4 for now. So we got treated with a really good matchup in the first game of week 4, Thursday night football, sorry. Bengals versus Dolphins. And this was a great matchup because Bengals, they didn't start off strong, but you know they're a high-caliber team. They can make improvements easily, and they can adapt to different matchups, and this is exactly what they did. But also, Dolphins were coming into this game with a bunch of confidence. They just beat the Ravens in spectacular fashion, and then they beat the Bills in grueling fashion, like I said last week. So Dolphins have full confidence too, and they're one of the only teams going into that week that were still undefeated. And on top of it, there was a little build up to this game. We got a little treated with a little wide receiver and cornerback matchup, a little chirping online between Tyreek Hill, the wide receiver of the Dolphins, and Eli Apple, the cornerback of the Bengals. I mean, Eli Apple is definitely one of the higher tiered cornerbacks in the league, so I really understand why he's kind of catching strays from the best wide receivers in the league. So Tyreek was coming up to the game, he was saying to sports media, he was going like, "I own you, boy. I own you." Like, so we got treated with a little trash talk as well. And we all know, too, that Tyreek Hill, he contributes a lot to a team's success. It really does, He catches one of those 50-yard bombs one time, It can change the whole result of the game. But in this game, Bengals started off strong. They were able to score a touchdown within the first 5 minutes, and the Dolphins were getting shut down slightly by the Bengals defense, so they were only able to score a couple field goals. So in the second quarter, with a little bit over 5 minutes left, it was still 6-7. Until the dynamic of the ball game completely changed. So what happened was the Dolphins' offense is on the field, and the Bengals' defense, and the pocket gets broken after the snap. So Tua, the quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa. I'm always nervous saying his last name, but I'm just going to say Tua. Tua had the ball, was looking for wide receiver somewhere to throw to. Nothing to be seen. Pocket gets broken. Bengals defensive lineman rushes through the pocket, rushes towards Tua, and lunges at him, and is able to get like a full arm around Tua's waist. And he does like straight up like all-American, all-pro wrestling pro move where he just grips the waist And then because of this lunge and the speed, he kind of ends up like swooping underneath him, right? And because the directions are completely like different, like the Tua is leaning forward and wants to go forward, and the defensive linesman just kind of jumped at him the other way, like the completely other way, and then spins around him. And the momentum's still building up. That's the craziest thing. This whole time, the momentum's still building up. And he goes kind of like underneath him and is still trying to pull him back or down, right, by the waist. And Tua is resisting for as much as he can, like just leaning forward, still on his feet, until the linesman just pulls hard enough so that his torso, like on the ground, just swoops Tua's feet from underneath him. And what you got was genuinely this freaking slam right onto his back. And the momentum and the force was so big. I swear John Jones, freaking Khabib, or even freaking Daniel Cormier, DC, they wouldn't be able to generate that much power. Like, this was insane because there was already so much speed and momentum coming into it. And of course, I mean, what do you think is going to happen when something like this happens? Tua gets backslammed and boom, he's out. He's out. The next image that you see on the broadcast is his fingers are all freaking messed up, like Hereditary when the guy gets possessed by the demon or whatever in class. Like, it's all fucked up, right? And it's scary. It's very, very scary to see a quarterback like that get hurt, like knocked out that hard. And, and even before you saw the fact that he got knocked out, like when you saw it happen, you knew it was a bad freaking slam, And it's really, you can't blame anything. You can't blame anyone really, because linesman is supposed to take you down. They can take you down by grabbing the waist, and it's the game of football where it's just there's so much momentum and all that whew. Oh my God, it was insane. Now I really think he needs to take as long of a break as he needs to. He just has to just let his whole head heal, his brain heal, kind of like genuinely, like with a fighter too. Like if a fighter gets knocked out, they need to take a while because their brain needs to like be okay with the fact that, you just got knocked out, and, the sooner you might get put into a situation like that, your brain's still used to it, and you'll get knocked out again, much easier. So yeah, he just needs to, be out for a while because, especially when he's a rising star like this, he's one of the highly touted, generational rising stars in the NFL, like quarterback. So yeah, it was very heartwarming to see the support in the NFL community. And yeah, man. After that, Teddy Bridgewater came in to take Tua's place, but after that, the momentum was over for the Dolphins, and Tyreek and Waddle, couldn't really catch anything crazy from Bridgewater. So yeah, Bengals took that one. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not a deserved win because any kind of win is a deserved win, but sad to see something like this happen. Unfortunate situation, and yeah, all the best to Tua out there. Actually, that was crazy. I saw it more than once, and it just blows my mind every time how hard you can get slammed in a ball sport. Anyways, moving on to the next game, we have Saints versus Vikings. And man, did those tea drinking, battered fish eating, Her Majesty sobbing folk get treated to an entertaining game in London. I think the Vikings were a pretty sizable favorite coming into this game, and it's, everybody has high hopes for Vikings this year, so they're probably always going to be. The Saints offense hasn't been able to produce anything crazy at all. So, and the Vikings only have some small flaws that are easily fixable. So, the Vikings were coming into this matchup looking like the favorite, easy favorite. And that's the game we got in London in the first half. A slow back and forth. Going into halftime, it was 10-7 for the Vikings. At this point, I think it was obvious that Justin Jefferson was going to be the only target for Kirk Cousins this game. So going into the fourth quarter with Minnesota leading by 2 points, 16-14, a lot could still happen. I have to say I was really impressed, though, with Andy Dalton and the wide receiver Chris Olave. I think they did, actually genuinely they did a little bit more than freaking Jameson did with anyone else. I genuinely think so. So Andy Dalton and Chris Olave, they were doing their best. They were making some big plays. And by now, during this game, I'm talking about going into the fourth quarter. It was going into the fourth quarter, it was 16-14. And by now, right, and the game gets more intense, but by now the London fans have gone treated to a punt fake, fourth down conversions, 2-point conversions, and 2 50-yard field goals. Two 50-plus yard field goals going into the last 2 minutes. So it was going into the last 2 minutes, it was mayhem. The Vikings were up 25-22 when Saints got to the 50-yard mark, and the Saints kicker ended up making a 60-yard field goal to tie up the game with less than 2 minutes on the play clock. Vikings made 2 huge plays to be able to attempt a field goal from 47 yards to take the lead again. And Vikings made the field goal. However, Andy Dalton ended up throwing a bomb to Chris Olave down the middle to let the kicker attempt a 61-yard field goal buzzer beater to try to tie it back up. This is insane. They were there was already a Vikings clutch, and then somehow the Saints still pulled off a clutch ish 61 yards. I don't know if that's field goal range, but theoretically, right? And the 61-yard field goal buzzer beater to try to tie it back up, and it ended up double doinking out too. Not double doinking in, double doinking out. As in, it hit the side of the post, doink. It hits the bottom of the post, doink, and bump, jumps out of there. And that was the win for Vikings. Really, really, man, it got real intense, real close there for a second, more than once for both teams. But yeah, Vikings come up on top, and wow, that was a game where I'm just damn it, should have been in London. But I'm gonna be in London later, but should have been in London. Maybe if I was in London 2 weeks earlier. Ma don't. But then again, the tickets might have costed a little bit more than I'm comfortable with, so maybe. But this was a great game to watch for any football fan. Lions versus Seahawks is the next game. Although the game looked like a back and forth that came down to the wire, I think it was obvious that Seahawks were playing better than Lions. Geno Smith was able to finally fully utilize all of his offensive weapons. Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Rashad Penny. They were all three of them. They were doing their thing, and when they do their thing, Geno Smith, he's got options. He can do anything. And they scored with little to no problem each drive. And the Lions, I think Jared Goff made a costly mistake, or maybe more than one costly mistake, especially when he threw a simple pick six. This time, not Michael Jackson. And the Lions were simply just playing catch up the whole game after that, kind of. And it was fun to see a single. It was fun to see single offensive plays. So individual offensive plays for both teams. Obviously, I already named out Lockett was making. I think Lockett and Rashad Penny both were making great individual plays. The play could have been something, but they made it. They turned, sometimes they were making nothings into somethings. They were really doing something amazing. And then T.J. Hawkinson, the tight end for the Lions, man, he was just going absolutely off. He was just doing his thing, having a field day for himself, dominating and pretty much carrying the Lions offense. So even though in the animal kingdom it would be impossible, but the Seahawks beat the Lions. That's that. Steelers versus Jets. Man, Mitch Trubisky proved once again to all the haters that they are right, and he probably played his last game as a quarterback, like a starting quarterback. It was inevitable, I think, after I said how inconsistent Steelers could possibly be, and the inconsistency heavily relied on Mitch Trubisky. He starts off the game by throwing an interception. Wow, amazing. And gets switched out after halftime to sit on the sideline, while Kyle Pickett made his starting quarterback debut. And like I said, I had a strong feeling that the Steelers were just gonna choke it, they were just not gonna, they'll probably end up beating a good team, a really good team. But right now they were playing the Jets, and I was just like, dude, you know what? The inconsistency is gonna kick in right now. And I kind of was thinking that the Jets were probably gonna win because Zach Wilson was back, and now they have their starting quarterback back, and their offense has been looking pretty okay. So I was like, dude, Steelers probably they're not gonna do so well. So yeah, that's what happened. As soon as and the thing is, I got nervous too because the Steelers were up by 20-10 at one point. And 20-10 is quite a lot for Jets. But dude, I still had the confidence for a good reason. Because Zach Wilson led the Jets back, and they took the game. What was it? Yeah, they took the game 24-20. Jets beat the Steelers, and right now it's just looking like the Steelers' offense is just completely discombobulated. They are lost like the city of Atlantis. They are lost like the Jeffrey Epstein list. They're just completely incapable of performing. So Mike Tomlin, it's going to be a rough season. Hopefully he can still somehow pull a positive record out of his ass. But yeah, good to see Zach Wilson, come back and take a win. Handsome young fella, you know. Anyways, next game, Giants versus Bears. So this was really this game I wouldn't have cared about other than the fact that the 9-leg money line parlay that I put down for this Sunday night football. Did a little 9-legger, money line. So basically who wins, that's it. So who wins the game, what team wins the game, that's it. And a 9-legger, so all 9 of them have to hit. And there was only 2 legs that I did not hit, and this was one of the motherfucking legs. So I was just like, please let Khalil Herbert, who's the running back of the Bears, who's been doing really well. And I was like, please, and Justin Fields, please, just, one game. This is the game. You guys finally pick the pace up and you guys do something, because Giants are not that good, right? They're pretty good now, but they're not that good. Like Daniel Jones isn't Tom Brady, you know what I'm saying, or the next Drew Brees or the next Aaron Rodgers, or So I don't really know. But then it's just like, why I don't understand why they couldn't do that. And then the Bears suck, and I guess they'll just continue sucking, and the Giants aren't as horrible as I thought they were. I guess Saquon's my guy, but I just had a feeling that, come on, Bears, just do something, right? But not meant to be. Got me freaking pissed. But yeah, I guess the Giants win 20-12. I guess they do. Colts versus Titans. Yeah, Giants could easily beat the Colts. That's not even a fun. But Colts versus Titans is the next game. And the Colts win last week against the Chiefs was a fluke. Because they just lost to the Titans this week, 24-17. Further proving to me that the Chiefs sucked really hard, but only last week. But the Colts suck really hard always. So Titans take the win, even though I don't even want the Titans to win. But yeah, Chiefs suck last week, Colts suck all the time. That was the consensus of this game. Moving on. Texans versus Chargers. All right. So Chargers are back in the win column, and Justin Herbert finally turns up a gear, and they hit the form. I completely missed out on this, but the Chargers running game has been crap this season. I didn't know this. But finally, Austin Eckler, the running back of Chargers, he was going off this game. He was doing really, really well. Fully unlocking the, Chargers offense, which is great to see. I mean, and the Texans were just trying their best to play catch up after a very strong, because Chargers came out firing, and the Chargers defense was just protecting well. I mean, or the defense was doing really well. They were just protecting, and just like Justin Herbert's rib cages were protecting his big heart. Justin Herbert's such a sweetie. And now I hope the Chargers can load it up to 100% right now. I hope this was the game that made them realize how good they could be, and now they're just kick it up to that one gear, like I said, and hopefully they stay in that gear. Because the Chargers are electrifying. You know what I'm saying? Little pun there. All right. Anyways, Falcons versus Browns. So Falcons versus Browns. Fuck. I mean, okay. All right. So this was the second game. This was the second game that lost me the freaking parlay. All right. Listen. So I just thought, okay, yes, whatever. Jets were able to, shut down the Browns, the running back duo. Okay. Or to best of their ability. But, I mean, those boys were still running. But I was like, okay, but no way the Falcons actually stopped the running, right? But I guess that's just, I guess Falcons are just kind of good sometimes. I guess I don't know. I just got heated because it wasn't even like, I don't even think it was how good the Falcons were. I think Browns were just horrible. It got me heated because Brissett threw an interception when they could have played it safe and tied it up with a field goal. But then it was 3rd and down, and he threw it for an interception, dude, instead of just playing it safe. Or just hand the ball. See if they can fucking run it, dude. See if they can run it a few yards, and then you kick the ball, and then there. It's tied up. We'll go to OT. We'll see what happens. But nah. I mean, at least Falcons weren't on the receiving end of a choke for once. And, yeah, Jacoby Brissett, quarterback of fucking Browns, and Justin Fields, they just costing me a crap ton of money this weekend. That's all I can say. That's all I can freaking say. I don't even care about the ball game. Y'all costing me the money. All right. So next game, it was the Cowboys versus the Commanders. There's not much to say here. Carson Wentz freaking still sucks because he's like a bad ginger version of Jimmy Garoppolo, and he just hands the ball to the running back and doesn't even have the confidence to throw a ball. And then when he does, it just completely fucking misses, right? The fucking hatred that I have for Carson Wentz is, it's next level. It gets me heated. And Cooper Rush, just might as well just be the all-time best quarterback in the freaking history, because he's 4-0 as a starter. He's never lost as a starting quarterback. So, and I'm just convinced that this streak will never be broken. Cooper Rush is as inevitable as a spilled drink at a freaking kid's birthday party, He's just the best. That's all I can say about this game. Cowboys beat the Commanders 25-10. Eagles versus Jags. All right, Eagles versus Jags. Here we go. Eagles Nation. I'm telling you. Jalen Hurts. I'm telling you. All those guys. I'm telling you. Those, they've won a ring before. They've won a ring in recent times. People seem to forget about the Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles, man. But this was definitely a challenging matchup coming into this week, because the Jaguars have proven that they have a very legitimate team. They have a legitimate offense. Trevor Noah, James Robinson, some wide receiver. Sorry, I only know the running back at this point. But, they're really good offense and very good defense as well. But that's the thing. We know everything we have to know about the Eagles. So that's the thing. This was a real, true test. And Jalen Hurts made a mistake. That's what happens. He made a mistake in was it the first quarter? Yeah. He made a mistake in the first quarter, threw a pick six on the very first drive. Then before the first quarter could end, Jags scored another touchdown. So after the first quarter, it was 14-0, right, like that, for the Eagles. And this is what I'm talking about. This is when you see if a good team's, like, how good is a good team. And this is where Eagles really got to show if they're legitimately good, if they can make improvements, adapt, and overcome, like Bear Grylls would say it. And they did. That's exactly what they did. They scored 3 touchdowns in the second quarter, overcoming the defense of the Jags easily. And this first half basically determined the outcome of the second half, because just like that, like, imagine the Jags were up 14-0 after the first quarter. They're like, yo, we're chilling. And then Eagles come back and they score 3 touchdowns in the second quarter. Like, dude, after that, you knew it was done. I'm sorry. Right after that, after the first half, you knew it was done. Eagles stayed victorious after overcoming adversity. Again, I mean, this is a cheese joke, but I mean, impossible in that animal kingdom. But the Eagles beat the Jaguars. And, dude, I'm a big fan of Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is superstar material. If he can genuinely take his team to the Super Bowl right now, dude, it's amazing. It's same level as Joey Burr. Same level. And I hold Joey Burr in like high regards. So, just man, it really do be Eagles Nation. So after this week, right now, Eagles are the only undefeated team in the league, which is insane. Which is absolutely insane. Because I remember starting to watch the other seasons, and there'd be seasons where it's like 3 more or 4 more teams, like deep into the season, are still unbeaten, and now we're in the 4th week, or after the 4th week, we're in week 5 technically now, day of recording, but yo, Eagles are the only ones undefeated. Eagles Nation. Anyways, moving on. Next game was Ravens versus Bills. This was very, very similar in the way I just talked about Eagles. This was the same thing for the Bills. This was the true test for the Bills, if to show how legitimately good they are. And in the game, the Bills were able to score at least a last-second touchdown before the half. Before they were able to do that, sorry, I'm a lot of notes here. Before the Bills were able to score a last-second touchdown before the half, Ravens were leading by 20-3. It was, again, fucking Lamar Jackson was doing his thing, and the offense was playing really well too. But this is when I have a small hot take. Yo, Josh Allen might actually run better than Lamar Jackson Jr. And I'm talking about, like, because if Lamar Jackson Jr. decides to run, it's because the play was made to be that way. Like, he told his boys before the play, he was like, yo, I'ma just run this. Like, unless if you guys get real nice and open, I'ma just run this. Or they blow coverage, I'ma just run this. And that's what makes him a superstar, yes. And it works most of the time, yes. But it's his play. But the thing with Josh Allen is he's already so dangerous without the ability to run, right? He's already on perfect, point with Stephon Diggs and everyone else, that if all else fails, he can still make the perfect read, freaking run. Dude, he's way taller, like bigger than Lamar Jackson. So, but he still picks it up. He can fly, man. He can fly. So every time, man, it gets me so hyped every time he starts running down the middle. and sliding in. And, sometimes, most of the time, this season at least, he's not even sliding. He's getting 2-3 defenders, tackling him down, and he's just eating it. No problem. No problem for the man. So, I don't know, man. I think Josh Allen has more impactful runs than Lamar Jackson Jr. That's like a hot take of mine, man. And, yeah. So after the Bills got into the final gear and it tied up 20-20 at the end of the third quarter, the fourth quarter was just a battle of the defensive teams. Who could defend the offense as much as possible? So basically it ended up being that Ravens choked it and the Bills clutched it because, oh my God, right. Because the Ravens choked this so clearly because they were 1 yard away from the touchdown. So it was second and goal, and they were 1 yard away. And it failed, and they couldn't convert. And so it went to third down, and they still couldn't convert. And then we go to fourth down, and instead of kicking the field goal to take the lead by 3, they risked it for the touchdown, fourth down, and it failed. So then, by the time the Bills were able to go into field goal range and they were able to run down the clock, like, Bills got it. Bills got the last little kick in and took the lead like that. So, man, it was a good showing from Josh Allen again to make a comeback 20-3. Against like Baltimore Ravens, they have a very good defensive team. They have a strong offensive team. So there you go. They proved that they are legit. They are top of the food chain, top tier team in the NFL. Anyways, next one. Panthers versus Cardinals. This was actually a pretty slow back and forth game, at least in the beginning. Most of the game. Until the fourth quarter, when it was a battered ball by a defensive lineman, and Cardinals were able to intercept it and almost run it to the end zone, and they ended up converting it into a touchdown. And then it was pretty much downhill for the Panthers. After this, Kyler Murray was then fully warmed up and started making some beautiful throws to Marquise Brown, the wide receiver. And I think at this point, Panthers, Baker may feel like it's because he doesn't have much help, but Baker Mayfield, it's because of you. Like, you got to get back to the grindstones, man. You got to make some changes, because then if you don't make the changes, then the team's not going to succeed, and then, the team's going to make the change and kick you the fuck out. So, come on, man. You got more in you. Come on. I still believe. I believe. Yes, sir. Davante Adams and Derek Carr. The Raiders are back. Oh, my mama. They're about to go crazy and make the playoffs easy. But oh, wait. They cooked my boy Russell Wilson? You're saying Derek Carr and Davante Adams cooked my boy Russell Wilson? Even though he was cooking up a storm? God did all he could for the game. I mean, 50-yard throw from Russell Dobbs and a rushing touchdown Come on. What do you mean? What do you want from him? He's better than Geno Smith. What do you mean? Geno Smith was a backup. He knows the playbook. Russell Wilson, he's in a new team. He doesn't know the playbook. He's got to get used to the team. The coaches. God. He's doing all he can. Okay? Broncos country. This week we're not riding, but next week let's ride. Let's ride. Come on. We're good. All right. Happy for the Raiders. They got the win. But don't say my boy Russell Wilson wasn't fucking cooking up a storm. Okay? That's all I need to say. Like, everyone's the Seahawks fans. Like, all of them are cooking him. But it's like, Russell owns all of you. Because he dedicates his life to God. He dedicates his life to the Almighty. You know what I'm saying? So you can't beat him. All right? Broncos country. Let's ride. Packers versus Patriots. Listen. Mac Jones is out. All right. You got to listen to this. All right. I'm going to have to read this maybe directly from the screen. But this is... You got to listen to this. Mac Jones is out. So the Patriots were ready to get zapped. The Packers defense was ready for the zap, though, as the defense was the one who zapped the zap. It was a very back and forth game. However, because the defense of Patriots were zapping the bad man's 40-yard rockets, and the Irish whipped cream Zap was throwing nothing but zaps. It was tied at the end of regulation. Going into overtime, the Packers were able to zap it into a good field goal range and win it there at home, defeating Bailey Zapp, the third string quarterback of the Patriots. That was the game analysis. Buccaneers versus Chiefs. Listen. This was Mahomes versus Brady. This was the sixth sequel. Every time they face off, it's a high-scoring game. The only time even one of the teams, Mahomes' team or Brady's team, have had a low-scoring game was the Super Bowl when the Bucs defense completely shattered Mahomes' offense. All right, but otherwise, it's always a high-scoring game, and this is what we got this time. All right, but basically, what I'm trying to say here is Brady has marriage problems. It's all over social media. It is all over the media. That's the new topic of the media now, right? So he's not happy in the marriage. He's got to stress about divorce. So I don't think the GOAT is winning any more games this season. Like, that's it. Like, how can you expect them to? Giselle, she's got the divorce lawyers ready. Tom Brady, supposedly, he's got the divorce lawyers ready. The kids are watching. They got their phones. They are on TikTok. Everyone's talking about how their parents are going to get divorced. And fucking Zach Wilson's fucking probably like creaming his pants. Oh my God, Giselle's single now. I got to shoot my shot. But, man, I genuinely don't think Yo, I'm sorry, but bro, Tom Brady sacrificed this one extra. This was the 1 year, dude. Like, all the other times when Tom Brady was like, shit, should I retire, and had the talk with the lady, Giselle was just like, Yeah, you should retire. You should spend more time with me. You should spend more time with your children. We all love you. We all care about you. We miss you. We don't like you being on the road. And then Tom Brady, every time, he was just like, yeah, but I love the game, though. I love the game, though. You know? And every time they were like, okay, fine. Okay, fine. You're still getting money. You're still getting millions. And then this was the last year, dude. This was the last year. Like if you wouldn't have taken this year, then it was chilling. He was chilling, dude. He would have gone back home. Oh my God, marriage, kids, everything would have been perfect. And this one extra year was when Giselle was just like, yo, there's no way you're taking this year. And he did. So now the marriage and the kids, that's all over. Forget about it. The GOAT winning another Super Bowl to top it all off. Forget about it. Okay. So I don't know what to say about the man. You know, it's unfortunate, but those things happen. And you're a celebrity. So I mean, deal with your celebrity shit. I'm sorry. Anyways. Last game of week 4. We have 49ers versus the Rams. And I guess on a good day, Deebo Samuel is just unstoppable. No one can stop Deebo. And Rams might as well just take over as the most inconsistent team in the league because they dominated the league last year. And they won the Super Bowl. But right now, they're getting beat by the same 49ers that lost last week. 11 to 10 to the Broncos. So, I don't know. And you're not even playing against Trey Lance. I don't know. And you're not even playing against a fully healthy George Kittle. Like, what are we doing? And I saw a stat that the Rams have been outscored 44-3 in the fourth quarter this season. So that means they're losing. They don't have the ice to win the big games, right? And they're completely choking on the easy games. They're choking the win on the easy games. So they gotta fix up a couple of things. Like I said, they're high. They're elite. They're on a higher level, yeah, but they got to make some changes. They got to show that they can make those changes. And please do, Rams. I don't want you to suck this year. I like seeing the Rams succeed. I've said this more than once, but I think Sean McVay is the new Bill Belichick. I think Sean McVay could be one of the greatest coaches of all time. So please, Rams, just listen to what the man has to say. Anyways, that was all I had to say about the NFL, and I'll jump straight into F1. We're back in Japan next week. Lovely. These Asian doubleheader, 2 races back to back, Singapore, Japan. But I'm gonna give you a little Singapore recap real quick. So, obviously, weather plays a big role. Weather plays a huge role in races and race weekends. And it was a rainy weekend in Singapore, but not much rain weather racing, which is weird. Which is like, hey, how the hell does that happen? And I think the decisions made by the FIA for driver safety is going a little bit overboard because every time when it was raining, the conditions were never like appalling or seriously dangerous to drive. It was never that because it was like the amount of rain that there was just not that much. Like it never was that much, right? For the FIA to consider them for FIA to consider it too dangerous to drive. But in this case, in this weekend's case, nope. Anytime there was even a little drop of rain, it was too much. It was absolutely too much for the FIA, and they think everyone's going to freaking crash out. And that says something if the FIA doesn't even have confidence of the skill level of the drivers that are in their organization. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you have the most advanced automobile in the world, and then you have the best tires, and you have the best drivers, and you don't think they can do it. Like, what? Like, dude, come on. What? Right? You're a good driver. Just don't make the fucking stupid mistakes. If you make the stupid mistakes, you're a fucking shit driver. Like, I think that just makes sense. Yeah, they were fully capable of driving in full wets. Friday for FP1 and FP2, there was minimal rain. So wet tires weren't even used. But quali and the actual race on Sunday were delayed due to the wet track. But the cars and the drivers are fully capable of driving in the wet with wet tires. So why delay the fucking, scheduled programming and, let the track dry up. Like, if it dries up, it dries up. And it naturally does, because those wheels, it removes water from the track. So just let them go at least. If there's some drivers, if all the drivers after a few laps are like, it's too bad, well, then it's too bad. Then chalk it. But let the guys try. Like, what is this? Like, I think it was absolutely crazy. I'm just waiting there. It's like, what? Like, they could give it a try. It's not that deep. But whatever. That's a little opinion that I got to start off with. But I guess every time Leclerc has pole, there's a Red Bull win. For some reason, even though after Saturday Leclerc got pole and Verstappen was only 8th on the grid after something with the fuel, something like that, he had to bail out on his last lap, even though Verstappen was gonna, get pole by like a whole fucking second gap. Anyways, Leclerc was in pole, but I was still like, dude, I don't think Leclerc got it. He is talented. He performs. Leclerc performs better in one lap than compared to like multiple laps. And that's why in a weekend like this, race weekend like this, like Sergio Perez has such dominance, because his game is preserving tires. So multiple laps, he's stronger. He can preserve those tires. And Leclerc is fast. He's fastest even, probably. But when it comes to sharing the track, he struggles, right? When everyone else is driving around the track and there's rubber all over the place, and you got to think about the long run, not about this one run, right? He can't keep up. I mean, like I said, if Leclerc, if he's in a car and he has to do one lap, no one can beat him. But on weekends like this is where you can see his flaws. And Perez in a street circuit is almost better than Verstappen on he's definitely better than Verstappen on a street circuit. I'd make that claim, man. Because Sergio Checo Perez had another street circus masterclass this weekend, the past weekend. Whenever there's been a race in the streets, it's been a pretty fucking good performance from Sergio Perez. Monaco, he won, and even Azerbaijan, he got second. So, for example, this race, he was under immense pressure from Leclerc after safety car restart. For 15 minutes, Perez kept Leclerc behind him, even though Leclerc was at a 0.5 gap behind him. Like, at some moments, Leclerc was 0.5 seconds behind him or less and had DRS on him. And still Perez was in front the whole time. And there was a possibility Perez might get hit with a 5-second penalty after the race. So when he got told this, Leclerc was behind him by 1.5 seconds with around 6 laps to go. And as soon as Perez got told to push, he was able to extract so much pace on his medium tires that were already 15. They were already 15 laps old. And by the end of the race, in 6 laps, the gap opened up to 7.5 seconds. So it went from 1.5 to 7.5, meaning Perez started driving 1 second faster than Leclerc each lap after he got told to push, which is absolutely insane. And I think that really shows just how good of a racer Sergio is. And, of course, you can make the claim about the cars and everything like that, but you're talking about this car and the driver who got pole position. Like, I don't like the excuses that, get told, oh, but Leclerc has still on Sundays race pace, bad race pace. But okay, well then do something. Still, you got the advantage of pole every time. So do something about that advantage. Don't lose that advantage. So, and at the same time, dude, Checo Perez, man. That guy's a legend. So that was good. Shout out to Checo for that race. That was actually just masterclass, and I was surprised when he kept Leclerc behind him. It was insane. He kept him behind in a way too that Leclerc wasn't even attempting. Leclerc was. See, that's the whole thing. I think Leclerc is. That's where I think he lacks compared to Max Verstappen, because Leclerc just doesn't have that confidence of, doing whatever he feels is necessary to win. It's still a little bit too much. He's getting controlled by his team, and I don't feel like he's not calling the shots, unlike Max Verstappen in Red Bull. Max is calling the shots, and the Red Bull team tries their best every weekend to cater to his needs, and that's why he does the best. But not in this race though, because he was struggling a lot with the tires, and he made a few pretty costly mistakes. So anyways, I'll just move on to the next one. It was a McLaren miracle this weekend. This past weekend. I always say this weekend. This past weekend. At least one constructor was able to. I mean, there was another one, but this constructor was definitely fully able to benefit from the safety car in Singapore. Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo were both able to jump a few positions and score P4 and 5. Which is very fucking solid considering the top teams, Merc, Red Bull, Ferrari. That's already 6 places, so that's really solid. That actually gave them the lead against Alpine in the Constructors' Championship. Not the overall lead, but the lead against Alpine, which is their closest competitor. I think the Formula One gods just somehow always want to throw Daniel Ricciardo a fucking bone, right? They just want to bless the man every now and then. And 2021 season, everyone was skeptical about his performance against Lando Norris. At least he was struggling a lot, and then he won in Monza, and then everyone was like, all right, he's good. He's still the guy. He's still the goat. And then it was. I guess it's the same thing now. Um, it was announced that another Australian, this time a rookie, Oscar Piastri, is going to take his seat next year in McLaren. So then as soon as this news hits and everyone's like, oh no, his future is over, then he gets blessed with the P5 in Singapore. I mean, yeah, Formula One gods are blessing him. So I don't know. I hope he can stay in the sport, but at the same time, I just have the strong opinion that when your days are over, you really have to be mature enough or smart enough to make the decision that, hey, like, I got to step out so someone new and younger can step in, give another person a chance, especially in a sport like Formula One where it's, at that level, the seats are limited. So, but yeah, not bad for the Honey Badger. P16 to a P5, which was very, very nice. Very, gotta give it to the man. And he just proved that he can offer a lot of value for other teams still as a veteran that can perform. Next up, we have Go Tiffy is back at it, I guess. So imagine you get forced, like pretty much forced to retire, right? Pretty much indirectly fired. And then instead of, taking in this and like using it as some kind of motivation, like last minute, do or die, I need to do my best to find the extra time on a lap for me to just be a little bit faster. I can prove all these people wrong. I am worthy of staying in the sport. And imagine you don't do that. And instead, you prove the haters right. And you prove everyone on the grid right that you shouldn't belong there. And you make a rookie-ass mistake and squeeze my fucking boy, Zhou Guan Yu, into the wall. Blind as a bat. You fucking just squeeze him into the wall. And right after the incident, there's the team radio to Latifi, and Latifi's just like, what did he say? I couldn't see him. I have damage. Like, dude, he was shaking. Like, dude, if you are that bad at driving, at least like just be bad by yourself, Don't drag other people down with you. Dude, like, I feel so bad for this guy. Like, it's just, he doesn't have the dog in him in a sport where everyone has to have the dog in him, Like, imagine all he had to really do the past 3 years in F1 or 4, whatever. He had to do like one outstanding performance. Like, that's really all you need. One standout performance. But he couldn't even do that. And now it's just, like I said last week, watching the finless shark fall into the depths of the ocean, never to be seen again. That's going to be him, man. It's going to be him. I'm sorry. All right. But we got another team. It's done a little bit of upgrades. We got Aston Martin and Lawrence Stroll, the owner and the father of one of the drivers of the Aston Martin, Lance Stroll. He's been putting in the work over the small break that we've had now after Monza. He's been putting in the work. He definitely came into Singapore. He was like, I want to get results. And results they got because Saturday, they almost made it into Q3. I think it was a little bit far-fetched if they made it into Q3. But, hey, man, they almost made it. Pretty darn close, which was already in major improvement. With a slide of assists with the slight assist of safety cars on Sunday, they were able to pick up the pace as well, or they had the pace and they were able to maintain it during the race day, and they scored a P6 and 7. So actually, two constructors made like huge performances in Singapore. And it's always awesome to actually see like, a team that's struggling actually make big improvements and actually like build and adapt and like really like make the improvements like in this weekend with Aston Martin. So and it really it shows a lot about the team. And I truly have had the opinion that Lawrence Stroll, even though he has a personality or this kind of demeanor or whatever around him, I think he is authentically himself and a businessman, and he's doing exactly what a true businessman should be doing, which is increasing the value of the brand. And right now he is doing that, truthfully. So good on him. Absolute full respect. Anyways, the Merc Boys, the Silver Arrows, it was not the weekend they were hoping for. The car was just not in tune. It had the whole weekend. It had stability problems, brake problems, something like that. And during the race on Sunday, Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, both them boys, made mistakes that were truly costly. Both of them, I think, locked up. I think Lewis made contact at one point. Russell almost made contact at one point. I think he did. So this weekend was strange for sure for the Mercedes guys. I almost expected Hamilton coming into this weekend to do some crazy shit. I thought he was going to come in and freaking get pole on Saturday and take the win on Sunday. Like, actually, I was convinced that Lewis Hamilton has hit like a new level like for this season. And it's kind of like taking a chance on new at least I thought it was going to be this way. I thought I was going to take the chance with Lewis Hamilton pole and the win. But it's really it's like taking a chance on a new energy drink. There's a chance it could be this revolutionary new favorite drink that you're going to buy every day. Or if it ends up being not so good, then at least you're drinking fizzy sugar with caffeine in it. Except for this weekend, the drink ended up being cement flavored. So, you couldn't even get anywhere in the race. So, Sir Lewis Hamilton, Sir LH, I believe in you still. But, it was a complete miss for you this weekend. Yeah, dude, I kind of thought he was going to get a podium at least, yo. But luck wasn't on his side. Luck wasn't on Mercedes' side this past weekend. So, whatever. We'll move on. DNF for Alpine and Williams. That's the last bit of news I have for the F1 race in Singapore. For Williams, it might have been doomed from the beginning. We don't really know. And for Alpine, it was an honest choke, since they had really promising pace the whole weekend. And for Alpine, it was a choke because it was technical issues for both cars. And for Williams, it was both driver errors. So not the best look for either team, because they both did the one thing that they should have avoided. Like Williams had, they had whatever, like a horrible car to begin with for the track. So they were already struggling. So, just don't crash it. But they crashed it. And then Alpine goes like, okay, we have really, really good pace. We have like all the things, car feels good, everything. Just as long as the car doesn't fail, and the car failed. So, not the best look for both of them. I mean, these boys might as well be Finn too, and left to float to the bottom of the ocean, because the future's not looking too bright. Sorry for all the drivers in both those teams. Future not looking too bright. I'm sorry. I had to say it. Alonso maybe is the only one. I had to say it. I'm sorry. Whatever. But anyway. UFC, not much going on at all. Everyone's just waiting for UFC 280. Everyone's just waiting for Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira. And that's all I have for UFC. At least, literally, that's the only thing I have for UFC. Yeah, it's been an interesting week. I'm gonna start talking about the NBA slowly. Preseason has started. It's gonna be a very interesting season. Man, it's gonna be a weird season. Draymond got caught punching Jordan Poole. I don't know. Last night, probably. I don't know. Boston head coach been slinging dick left and right. Got freaking fired because he's cheating on his wife. I don't know, dude. It's crazy. I don't know. There was a guy playing basketball somewhere called Ho You Fat. What? What the fuck is going on? I don't even know if I want to talk about it, to be honest. Right? Because it's just going to be about LeBron James and Russell Westbrook and the Lakers all the time. God damn it. But, yeah. I'm going to slowly get into the NBA topics as well, especially on weekends like this where I don't have much to talk about the UFC. I might as well talk about the NBA. But for today, it's like this. For this week, it's like this. I have some ideas of possible changes I want to make for next week's episode and see if it goes well. At least on the planning side of things. Hey, everybody. Hope you have a good weekend. And I'll see you guys later. Man, it got dark in here too. Shit. Whatever. Hopefully it wasn't that dark. Shit.